guy's doing double duty here. He just got it looking on YouTube there.
Awesome. Well, welcome. I'm so glad that you've all taken time out of your busy schedule to come tonight, and I hope that you find this interesting and helpful. Some of you, I know, have been here in the past. You've had kids here before. There's a few new things, so yes, thank you. I appreciate you coming. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Glenda Rosem. I think you probably all know that. But sometimes I've had people pronounce it Rossum, the kids all year long. So I always like to say Rosem with a long O, just so that it's easy to remember. The kids call me Mrs. Rosem. And this is my 10th year of teaching at Seeds of Faith Preschool. This will be my 10th year, which is hard to believe. Before that, I taught kinder music for 16 years, and before that, I taught public school for about 7 years, between kindergarten and grade 2. So that's just a little bit about me. I guess I'm already behind here on my clicker. Let's see if we can get it. Is it working? Okay, there we go. All right. So just the purpose of the presentation tonight, I believe that parents are the first and most important teachers of your child, and education is a partnership between school and home. And so the more that we can work together, the better. And so keeping you informed and having us work on things together will be the most benefit to your child. And I'm honored that you've entrusted us to look after your precious children. I believe children are a gift, and we really take the responsibility seriously and really want to just the very best for each of your children. And so we're hoping that this school experience, this first experience for them, will be a really positive one, and will set them up for a love of learning for the future. So just to let you know some of the things that we'll be talking about today, we'll talk a little bit about what we're doing to keep our students healthy. We'll talk about drop-off and pick-up procedures, and what things you need to bring to school each day. And then we'll talk about an overview of your child's day, what the day looks like. And then there's other procedures and information that we'll also be discussing. So we want to try to keep the kids as healthy as possible, and we want to balance protecting their health as well as also their emotional well-being. And so these are things that we've thought about long and hard the last few years, trying to make sure that we have a good balance. We want to still maintain a strict policy of keeping sick kids at home. If your child has any of these symptoms, if they've tested positive for COVID, fever, cough, all those things, I'll let you read them yourself. Those are things that tell us that your child is too sick to be at school. And if you're not sure if they should come to school or not, then we'd prefer you would just err on the side of caution and not send them. I think because the kids weren't exposed to anything for quite some time, once they're all together, things tend to get spread around a little bit more. So if you can just try to be respectful about that, we would really appreciate it. And then also, if you can keep your child home until they're fully recovered. If they still have symptoms, wait. We'd like them to be symptom-free for about 48 hours just to make sure that they're well enough to be at school. If your child becomes ill while they're at school, we'll take them out of the room and call you to avoid exposing the other children. And so if you can have sort of a backup plan, that's why we ask for emergency contact numbers in case somebody needs to get your child during class. Also, if you as a parent have a bad cough or something like that, or a sibling is sick, rather than coming into the building to bring your child in, you can text us and we'll meet you at the door, and we can pick up your child at the door, and then also have them ready for you to get at the door, so that we can try to make sure that things don't get spread around. We've been doing additional cleaning for those who haven't been here or haven't been here recently. We have a machine that we spray with. It's a vital oxide misting machine. It's food grade. It's safe. So we will be misting the classroom after every class, and then the toys we will be misting several times a week. We laid out the toys that are used, spray them, wait 10 minutes, flip them over, spray them again, wait 10 minutes, and then put them back. So Miss Ryan does most of that, and it is kind of time consuming. But we would also like to ask this year for some parent volunteers to come once a month. And if every family could take a turn once during the year to wipe down the toys with a bleach water solution, just because the spray leaves a little bit of a film on the toys, and so after a while they don't feel quite as nice. We just went through cleaning everything, so everything's nice and clean and ready to go. But I'll be sending out a link for something called Sign Up Genius to see if we can have some volunteers to come. And we usually do some people cleaning while your child's in class, or you could, once in a while we have an evening cleaning time where I'll come and meet you here and we can clean toys together. Also, we've tried to limit toys that might go in the children's mouths. We do still have some play food, and we talk to them about not putting it in their mouths. We've decreased the number of toys in the classroom, or the amount of, rather than having 100 blocks, we'll have 50 or something like that. So it makes it a little bit easier to keep things clean. And then we've also removed things that, the doctor's kits, cell phones that they'd put up to their mouths. And we don't have the dress-up clothes out right now either, because that's something they'd put over their head. They might, that probably would be difficult to clean easily. As far as our masking, masks are optional for the students, and we support your decision. Whatever you feel best about is fine with us, and we'll support whatever you decide. But as far as the staff, we've decided that at this time we would prefer not to mask, and the reason behind that is that we feel it's really important for the children to be able to see our faces, to be able to see our smiles, our facial expressions. It's important for their social development to be able to start reading people's facial expressions and understanding also how to make sounds. Children's developing speech, they need to be able to see what your tongue and lips are doing when you make the sounds. So that's some of the reasoning behind that. Of course, if it becomes mandatory, then that might have to change, but we're hoping not. And then just some things if you could work on at home with your child, if you could make sure that they know how to cough into their sleeves. So we practice that with the kids, just coughing into their sleeve rather than their hand, because then they're touching things. And then also asking them reminding them to keep their fingers and nose out of their mouths, as well as toys out of their mouths. And so if they do have their fingers in their nose or their mouth, we'll send them to wash their hands to keep everything clean. And then also if you could work on hand washing with them, that they know how to wash the fronts and the backs between the fingers, and that they take a long enough time to wash. I had some students last year that were like, you'd think they probably were nurses or doctors' children because they washed so well. And that's great. But yeah, sometimes it's sort of let the water run and done. So we want to just kind of encourage that. We want to keep everybody healthy as possible. So what to bring to school? So each time you bring a snack in a lunch kit. And it does help if you actually have a lunch kit, as opposed to, we've had kids bringing several items that they're trying to juggle with their water bottle. It's just easier if their food can be in the lunch kit, and if the water bottle fits in there too, that's great. If not, that's okay too. Also, if they can have a water in a leak-proof container. I would suggest that to see if it's leak-proof, try turning it upside down. So many times we've had kids put their water bottle in their we have little green buckets that they bring out at the end of the morning or the afternoon with their artwork that they've done, and if it leaks on their artwork, they're pretty sad about that. Also, the water bottles that's with the screw lids aren't great. If they get knocked over, then the water ends up on everybody, and so if you can get something that won't tip over, but also that won't spill if it gets knocked over, that would be great. And then make sure to check the calendar for special things that you need to bring or to wear each time. There's special days when they wear certain colors. Also, there's days when they don't need to bring a snack because we're having a special snack. That you'll see that on the calendar at the end of September. We're having a special snack for our Pete the Cat celebration. So on those days when we'll have some volunteers send snack or we'll provide a snack, please don't send an extra snack, because then they don't understand why they don't also get to eat their other snack when they've already had one. So just watch that as well. So it's a good idea to look through the calendar as soon as you get it, in case there's something like this month. We're asking you to send a shoebox and a toilet paper roll, because we're going to make some guitars. And so if you don't notice it till that morning, it's going to be a little bit hard to find those things. So look over it as soon as you get it, and then make a point of looking over it the night before, so that your child doesn't miss out, because we have some sad faces when the child's the only one who forgot that or didn't know that it was Blue Day and everybody's wearing blue except for them, or sometimes we wear our Seeds of Faith shirts and that kind of thing. Also, they should bring a backpack each time, so that they can take their things home in the backpack. And parents need to bring the parent ID card, which we'll talk about more in a little bit, but that's this card that was hooked onto your packet. So make sure you have that each time you come. But please don't bring toys, blankets, stuffed animals, and things from home. We're trying to limit the number of things that come into the classroom from home, but also if kids bring those special things and other kids want to play with them, it's an issue. And also sometimes when they have those stuffies and those special loveys, they just kind of curl up in a ball on the floor, and it's hard for them to participate. So unless it's absolutely necessary, we try not to bring those kinds of things. So arrival. So when you come now, now that, for those who haven't been here in a few years, we are coming in the main doors, the same doors that you entered through. So you're allowed to park in the handicap parking along Central Street for drop-off and pickup. The only time that you can't do that is if there's a special, like if there's a funeral or a special seniors event or something like that. And so if I know that there's something like that, I will email you and ask you not to park in that area at that time, so that there is room for people that will need it. But if you come and you see a whole bunch of people parked there, then if you don't mind, you can park across the street or some other place. So when you come, you're going to there's a buzzer right between the two sets of doors, and you're going to hold up your parent ID card to the little camera. So each year the card changes, so that that only the current people that are currently registered have that color of card. And the reason we do this is so that we know who's allowed to come in. Sometimes it's not that easy with the camera to really make out who's there. The sun's behind you, or there's some glare and we can't really tell for sure who it is. Or there may be somebody different coming to do drop-off and pick up. So this will help us to know that we can safely buzz that person in. We just want to make sure that we don't let anybody in the building who's not supposed to be in. So you're going to hold up, I have a picture of the little camera here. So that's the little thing that you press the buzzer, and then you're going to hold this up to the little round eye there, and keep holding it there until you hear a buzzing sound. And the buzzing sound will mean that we've unlocked the door. And the door that unlocks is the one just to the left of the buzzer. And sometimes if it's really, like if it's raining or like there's traffic noises, you might not hear it buzz. So then just give it a try, and it may work. If we don't come right away, then give us another buzz. We may have missed it. One thing that you can do is make a little, we used to always hole punch these, and we forgot this year, but you could put them on like on a wrist thing or a lanyard, especially if you're carrying babies and all that kind of stuff. You got a lot of things in your arms. It can help to have it just handy, especially in winter, just to hold up. So I know sometimes it gets to be a pain, and people stop using this as the year goes on, but we do want to keep using it, because sometimes we have other people doing the buzzing in that may not know who's allowed to come in. So once you come in, if everybody could use the hand sanitizer, parents and children, just to keep the outside germs out, that would be great. We have a no-touch one, so you just put your hand under and it dispenses. And then when you come in, if you can remove your child's shoes and put them on the mats, and if it's wet or muddy or anything like that, also take off your own shoes and put them on the mat while you bring your child down to the classroom. Just because that floor, if that floor can get slippery when it's wet, and also then the kids' socks get all wet if we keep our shoes on. So. But we always have the kids take their shoes off because they're going to be changing into their indoor shoes. It's not moving. Oh, here we go. So once you've put your child's shoes, taken them off, you're going to go down the stairs, and there are some coat hooks to the left that you can hang your child's coat and their backpack on. Now the class times, the morning classes start at 9 a.m. and the afternoon at 12:45, and you're allowed to come up to 20 minutes early. So for the morning class, you can come at 8:40, anytime between 8:40 and 9 o'clock. In the afternoon, you can come anytime from 12:25 to 12:45. But please don't arrive earlier than that, because we're busy getting things ready for class or eating lunch. And so sometimes it's if you come earlier than that, it kind of cuts into our preparations. But it is great if you can try to come at least 5 minutes early, because it does take a few minutes to get your child's coat off and all that and get them to the classroom. And we do so many important things in the first, I think I pushed too many times. It was going slow. If you could try always to arrive a few minutes early, then your child isn't going to miss. We sing the hello song to the kids, and we sing a verse for each child. We're learning the letters, the numbers. We're doing the calendar, all those kinds of important things that your child misses out if they come late. Also, it can be disruptive to the circle time when people are coming in late as well. So I know that there's times when you just can't avoid it, and that's totally understandable, but if possible, if you could be on time, that would be great. And then if you could make sure your child uses the washroom either right before they leave home or as soon as you arrive. There's a washroom between the double doors where the white cubbies are, and so you can take your child in there. Just that way we know like everybody's gone and they'll be good at least until the end of circle time. We try to give lots of reminders, especially at the beginning of the year. But sometimes if your child hasn't gone and they come, we may not think of taking them till after circle time is over. So there's I have a picture here where the coat hooks are, and then the double doors. So after you hang up your child's coat and backpack, if you could bring their snack and their water bottle into the classroom. So bring those things with you. And then once you get between the double doors, there's some white cubbies. And so you'll grab your child's shoes. And it's great if they can do those things themselves. The more they can do themselves, the better. So they'll quickly start to recognize where their shoes are, and they can bring them into the classroom. And so we will help them if they need help to put their shoes on. We'll help them. But it's great if they can do some of that on their own as well. So the area between those double doors is a little bit crowded. So before we were doing only one family in there at once, but now we'll say, you know, we could have a couple families in. But if there's two families that are moving around in that area, you might want to just wait for somebody to leave before you try to get in there as well. So once you get into the classroom, you're going to see some green bins. And the bins have your child's name on them. And this year we have jungle animals, safari animals. So each class has a different animal, so it'll help them to be able to find their label a little bit easier. But we always put the green containers in the same order for them. And so you'll pull it out, put your child's snack and water bottle inside, and then they can put their shoes on. And then if you could drop off your child just inside those doors, like by where the green bins are, but don't go inside the little barn door. And so just say your goodbyes there, and then we'll take them in. And just be mindful if there's people waiting to try to do that as quickly as you can. I know at the beginning, if there's separation, sometimes that's hard to do. So we'll be patient with you. We know that the first few times can sometimes be a little bit hard for some of the kids. So that brings us to separation anxiety. Just going to get a drink here. All right. I can hear my voice back. All right, so what helps with separation anxiety? A few suggestions are if you know your child's going to have some trouble saying goodbye, make a point of coming a little bit earlier. Come that 20 minutes early, because then the room isn't already full of people, there isn't a lot of stuff going on, and then we can kind of devote time to your child before everybody's there. And if you really feel they're going to struggle, we don't even mind you coming, 25 minutes early for the first few times, just to give that time that we can be one-on-one with them. And then it helps a lot to do a short goodbye and then leave. Trying to prolong it and convince them or having a long discussion usually doesn't help. It usually just makes it worse. Or telling them that you're going to leave and then saying, okay, I'll just stay for a couple minutes. That usually ramps things up. And then another thing that's really important is always be on time for pickup. Sometimes children who don't have trouble with separation, if they come out and you're not there, they start to have that panicky feeling. And then the next time they say goodbye, they will struggle because they're afraid, well, what if I have that, what if that happens again? So I know that there's always going to be some times when you can't avoid it, but just if you can do your best to be on time for pickup, that's important. Things that don't help is I think I talked about that, you're going to leave and then staying or having a prolonged discussion. Those things usually don't help. Most children will adjust after a few minutes, and if we need you, if things just don't settle down, we will call you. So don't worry. We've been through this lots of times, and we have lots of things that we try to help them out. And if you maybe notice that there's a child who's crying because of separation, just to be aware, we try to follow the child's lead. Some children, when they're having trouble, want to be held or be close to somebody or have you talking to them and giving them toys or whatever. Other children are like, I need my space, and they'll be crying, but they don't want to they won't let you come anywhere near them. So if you see us, it looks like we're ignoring the child that's crying, it's probably because that child just needs to have their own space, and then as they are feeling comfortable, they start to get closer and closer to the group. So yeah, we try to just kind of feel out each situation and respond with what that child needs. And most children participate in Joy class more when parents don't stay. Times in the past when I have had a parent that just felt they should stay, usually the child will not let go of them and won't participate or anything until the parent leaves. And it will get easier. I've never had somebody struggle with separation for the whole year. It always gets better. And so just let us know if you feel like if there's anything that we can do to help your child feel more comfortable. We definitely want to do that. All right. Oops. Typical day. Oh, the whole thing went there. Here we go. Okay, so when your child arrives, we'll help them put their shoes on, and then we have a little chart that has their names. So their name will be on a little animal, and they'll have to find their name and move it from home to school in a little pocket chart. And of course, we know that some of them won't be able to do that right away, and others will. So we help them, and it's really cool when they start to be able to recognize their names, and that's the reason why we do it, so they start to be able to recognize their names, and they also start to recognize the other children's names too. Children tend to key into things that are important to them. So if they have a friend and they know what their friend's letter is, then that will stick with them. So names are important to them. After that, we have some playtime, and we'll probably have a little longer playtime for the first couple of classes before we have our circle time. Because it's tough to tear them away from the toys when they just started playing. When we have our circle time, we sing a hello song with a verse for each child, and then we go through the calendar and we count the numbers up until the day that we're on, and then we add the new number. And the calendar also helps us learn the days of the week. We'll learn a little song with the days of the week. And there's also patterns on the calendar numbers too, which the kids really like, and they start to be able to predict what's coming next. We also, during the circle time, we start learning the letters of the alphabet. And if you look on your calendar, you'll see at the beginning of the week what letter we're working on. And if there's no letter, it's because we're just reviewing a letter that day or that week. We do like to have some review built in too. We also learn a number and a shape, and we talk about the seasons and the weather as well during circle time. We also have some spoken sharing times, like when we have our color days where they wear blue. You'll notice that a blue day, we suggest they wear their Seeds of Faith shirt, but they can also wear as much blue as possible. And then each of them gets a turn to come up and say my shirt is blue, my pants are blue, my socks are blue. So they enjoy it. But don't worry if there's some colors I don't have either. Don't feel like you have to go too far to try to have everything that color, but it does help the children to learn the colors, and also it helps their speech and their confidence to speak in front of others. So after we've had our circle time, then we usually do some arts and crafts or some kind of a printing time, some kind of table activity. Some of the things we do are more art, where they're creative. Other things are crafts, and crafts also have purposes in that the children learn how to follow directions. So it'll be like put the circle at the top of the square, or put this on top of that. So we do both kinds of things, and the children become very good at following directions after some practice. So that has its benefits as well. Then after that, we have our Learning Center playtime, and we usually move into the second classroom. We have 2 rooms. As those of you who have been in our room, we have 2 rooms adjoined by a door. So we start off in the one room, and then for the second playtime, we move into the other classroom. And there are lots and lots of things for them to do. And so I won't go through all of it, but there's many benefits of play. They say play is a child's work. And they learn so many things just through exploration and play. Then we also have different learning centers that we change up the activities. So the room isn't always the same. We have reading centers, painting centers, home play center, sensory bins, all those kinds of things. And then, as I mentioned, we do change up the activities quite frequently. So after our learning center playtime, then we have a story time. And see this, it won't go where it goes like the whole page at once. I'm sorry about that. So we have a story time, and then after story time, we have gym. It's not listening to me. There we are. And we are very fortunate to have the use of the gym. We get to use it pretty much every day, unless there's some sort of event. And if there is an event, then we'll do a music and movement time in another classroom across the hall that has a wide open space. So it's great because especially in the winter, the kids get to run and get to play with balls and hula hoops and all those kinds of things. We do obstacle courses, and that's usually most of the kids' favorite thing is the gym time. Then after that, we all go to the washroom just outside of the gym, just because there's more stalls there and sinks as well. So we stop there, and then the kids all wash their hands before our snack time. We also have a washroom in our classroom that the kids can use anytime, and we will remind the kids and ask them if they need to go. So if you can work with your child on using the toilet independently, we will help them if they need help, but the more things they're able to do on their own, the better. And so if you can dress them in clothes that they can actually pull up and down on their own, that really helps their independence. It's tough sometimes if they have the jeans that button and all that it becomes really hard for them to do on their own. And then also to try to dress them in washable clothes that they can play in and that you're not afraid of getting dirty. We do lots of painting, finger painting, all those kinds of things. We have waterproof paint shirts, but we sometimes do have things that happen. I always tell them, don't take off your paint shirt till we wash our hands, but some of them will forget and grab their paint shirt and then they have the paint up their pants or whatever, or they'll accidentally touch somebody's back. We're pretty good. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen. So if you have the frilly $100 dress that grandma bought your daughter or something like that, maybe not, preschool might not be the best time to wear it. We do our best, but I hate to wreck anything. After our snack time, then we have our closing circle time, and during that time we do some music, some singing, Bible story, we learn a Bible verse, and we pray together. And after that is dismissal. And so when it's time for the children to go, they all come out at the same time, and they're going to go get their green bin and bring it out to you. And sometimes it might seem silly that they're bringing their green bin if the only thing in it is their snack. And sometimes they'll be like, why do I have to carry the whole thing? I'll just take my snack out. But we want them to get in the habit of bringing the whole bin out, because sometimes there are other things at the bottom that they miss and they get left behind if they just grab the things out of it. So if there's any notes, we put them in there, any crafts, take-home things. Some crafts we keep to put in their scrapbook. So if your child tells you about a craft and you don't see it, it might be because it's on the bulletin board or being put in their scrapbook. So the morning dismissal time is 11:15 and the afternoon is 3:15. And so if you could try to arrive a few minutes before that, just so that you're waiting when the children come out. That, as I mentioned, is important. And if you realize you're going to be late, text me and let me know. And that way, if I can let your child know that, mommy got stuck in a line at Costco or something and she's going to be 5 minutes late, then they're not as panicked when they know ahead of time before they come out. We do have a policy of a $15 late fee if you're more than 10 minutes late for pickup. Now, I'm usually pretty understanding if this happens once, but if it's the kind of thing that happens over and over, then we have to use that policy. So If one thing I would suggest is set a reminder on your phone to buzz, because it's so easy when you're getting busy with things at home or at work that to just time gets away from you and you forget. I did that when my kids were in preschool. Of course, that was before cell phones. So I set the timer on the stove, and it's funny how fast that preschool time can slip by, and all of a sudden it's like, oh no. So when you come, again, you're going to buzz in and hold your card up the same way you did when you entered the first time. And we'll already have the children's shoes taken off and put back in their little cubbies. If we forget, don't take them home. Once in a while, I'll forget to have them take them off, but we try to make that part of the routine. As soon as they're done their snack, they put their snack in their green bin and then put their shoes away. Sometimes they'll accidentally put their shoes in their green bin, so if that happens and they bring the shoes out, then bring them back and put them in the white cubbies. And then when they come out, if you can remove all the things from the green bin and then have your child come give me the green bin back again, and then they can put their stuff in their backpack. So food at preschool. So we're asking that the snack that you send for your child be something healthy. So we prefer fruits, veggies, cheese, crackers, yogurt, that kind of thing. We stay away from the candy, the sugary things. And it also then helps if everybody is doing that. It's easier than if the one child has carrots and the other one has a chocolate bar. So just if everybody's having healthy foods, hopefully that will encourage the other children to try those things as well. We have a nut-free policy, just like the schools, and that means not just peanuts and peanut butter, but any kind of nuts. We do have some children with severe allergies. One's a pistachio. I think there's a walnut allergy. So just be really careful. And I know sometimes if it's not on your radar and you've never had to watch out for nuts, it slips you by. So we try to watch really carefully for that kind of thing. But yeah, just be aware that it is a serious thing. I did have one time when a student brought a peanut butter sandwich, and I noticed across the room, I saw the peanut butter on the little plastic wrap, and I was just heading over there when the child sitting beside put his face down and was going to lick the peanut butter off of the other child's plastic. So that's the kind of reason why we are so careful about that. If you send, there's that, what's it called, wow butter, that's not peanuts, but it's made from peas or something like that. If you send that, it looks like peanut butter, so maybe if you could just write wow butter on it. I think they even have stickers on the wow butter that you can stick on so that we know that it's not actually peanut butter. Because if it looks like peanut butter, I'll be texting you and just saying, is this peanut butter that you sent, just to make sure that we're not having any problems with that. Also, if you could remember to just bring a small snack. So one thing or two small things at the most. We honestly had kids bringing more snacks than I eat for lunch, more than once, like whole oranges and apples, and lots and lots of, like a sandwich. So this shouldn't take the place of breakfast, and it shouldn't take the place of lunch. So just something that healthy to tie them over. Sometimes when we think of snack, we think of treat. So try to, instead of think of something healthy to fill in this place between breakfast and lunch. Also, if you could try to send the snacks in something your child can open, that helps us a lot too. There's all those reusable zipper bags now that you can just throw in the wash that are great, that make things easier. We will be there to help them if needed, but if you can do that, we'll get them ready for school. And then I mentioned about setting the water in a leak-proof, spill-proof container. And just make sure your child knows how to open and close the water bottle, and just remind them to always close the water bottle before they put it away, because sometimes if they leave it up and throw it in the bag, it'll start to leak. We do watch for those things, but sometimes when everybody's doing, we're helping somebody wash their hands, we miss that. And also, we're asking not to send cupcakes or other food for birthdays. If you really want to send a birthday thing for all the kids, like some little kind of toy or something is great, as opposed to, but that's not necessary. We celebrate birthdays, so you don't have to send anything. But yeah, the cupcakes tend to, the kids will have another snack with them already, and then they have 2 snacks, and so it's also we have to worry about allergies as well with that. And then we'll have sometimes when we'll have a group snack, as I mentioned, when families can volunteer. Don't feel like you have to volunteer every time. We'll have several opportunities through the year, so everybody should hopefully get a chance to send something. Classroom management. I'm just going to take another drink here. It's funny how dry you can get when you're talking all the time. So this is something I know parents are very interested in, classroom management and what we do for classroom management. One of the things I have found through the years is the very best thing that I can do is to try to connect with each child. If a child likes us, that's 90% of the battle. If they want to please you, they feel like you like them, that really helps a lot with them cooperating. We also have very simple rules, and we'll talk about our rules the first day, and I have little pictures for them. One of them is an ear. So we use our listening ears. We have to listen to the teacher. And another one is a heart. We care about other people. We treat them nicely, and we treat the toys nicely. And then another rule is about picking up toys. And then the other rule I added was, tell us when you have to go to the bathroom. So that's an important rule as well. But we have a few things like that, and we go over them with the kids, just so that the kids are, by and large, really want to do the right thing, and it helps if they know what that is. We really try to nurture their independence, and so we try to get them to learn how to do things on their own, like cleaning up their own snack at the end. We don't do it for them. If they need help, we'll help them, but we're always working towards independence. And I will often say, now that you're big, you can help us clean up. Now that you're big, you can put away your own snack. And so they feel really good about that, and they want to do those things. We also teach character traits. We do a different character trait each month. The first month, we're doing having a positive attitude, and that kind of goes along with our Pete the Cat theme, because Pete the Cat has things go wrong, and he has a good attitude about it. So we talk about that. And so each month will be a different character trait we'll work on. And then we use praise. We praise the effort. We don't say things like, wow, you're so smart, or those kinds of things. Those aren't things that they can control, and they don't know what to do with those kinds of things. Instead, we'll say, wow, you worked really hard on that puzzle, or look at that, you put your shoes on all by yourself. And those kinds of things help them to feel good about what they're doing. We also have some rewards and consequences. We have a little behavior chart that we use, and we use it like 90% of the time. It's for the positives. So the behavior chart, they all start. I can't get it to come up. They all start in the middle. They have clothespins with their names. There we are. They have clothespins with their names on them. So this one's the jungle theme, so they start out at Ready for Adventure. And if they all help clean up the toys, then their names get moved up. But if somebody is just refusing to cooperate, then sometimes their name will go down. But then I always tell them, if you start listening and helping again, you can go back up again. So a lot of times that's all they need, is just that little visual cue, like, oh, I guess I wasn't helping with the cleanup, and next time I will. We do sometimes give timeouts. We don't usually have to do that a lot, but some of them are kind of tests just to see if they're going, if, you know, what will happen if I say, no, I'm not doing that, or whatever. And so then we'll have a little time where you get to maybe think it over, have a little thinking time, and then we'll come and talk about it and see if you're ready to cooperate, and then you can come and join us again. So that's, but we do a lot of modeling and talking to them about how to do things too, because children don't naturally know how to share things. So if they're having a tussle over a toy, we'll come and say, okay, you know, can you say, could I have a turn when you're done? And so get them to, you kind of model that and get them to say it, or you know, just talking about being gentle and what that means, and looking at other children's faces to see how did they feel when you took that toy away? Can you see they're looking sad now, or whatever? So we do talk about those things a lot as well. And communication and cooperation between home and school is really important. So I try to keep you informed, and just please let me know too if your child's upset about something, if they're saying that somebody's, you know, bugging them all the time, anything like that. Let me know if there's something that we need to deal with at preschool, and I'll keep you informed as well. So we're on a 2-year program, so if your child comes for a second year, they won't be doing the same themes again. The themes are all different. We, of course, still do the letters and numbers and those kinds of things, but it's a different program each year. And we try to have activities available at lots of different learning levels, so that there's something that will be just right for your child, whether they're already reading, or if they don't even know what a letter or number is. We try to have things for them. And we value process over product, which means the process a child goes through in creating something is more important than the end product. So we could make, you know, if they're say they're doing a picture of a face and they put the eyes at the bottom of the chin, we could move them for them to the right place and have everybody's looking perfect and the same. But that is not as important as them thinking themselves, and we might say, so where are the eyes on your head, or the top of your head, or the bottom? They may not end up in the right place, but you know what, that will show you the progression of where they are now and where they will be at the end of the year or at the end of next year. And also try not to compare your child with somebody else. We have kids that are still 2, and we have kids that are almost 5. And so you wouldn't expect a newborn to be walking. So just be understanding that children are ready at different times too, even if they're the same age. They're not always speaking at the same level. They're not always, their motor skills may not be at the same level as somebody their own age. So we take the children from where they are, and we help them to progress. And so we also value growth over achievement. It's not about, you know, does everybody know all their letters by the end of the year? It's like, look at how much they progressed, how far they came in, and even if they may not know any letters, but they might be able to, they may have found a friend. They may have been able to cooperate or share. So all of those things are important. The reason that we have the 3- and 4-year-olds together is because the younger ones learn from the older ones, and then it gives the older ones a chance to be leaders. So some of our returning students, the kids that are returning for the second year, when I sent them the welcome letter, I said, you know, could you be a big helper and help the new kids that are coming to preschool? And that gives them that feeling of like, oh, okay, I'm going to help them. And the younger ones will watch the older ones and see them cleaning up and then follow suit, or using the washroom and follow suit, hopefully too. So those things, that really helps having the mixed age groups together. And yeah, as I mentioned, the older students can develop leadership skills. So I mentioned before the importance of communication. So please let me know if your child is going to be absent or late. Otherwise, we're kind of, if we're going to do something important, I may be trying to shuffle around things just a little bit so that your child doesn't miss something really important, and they may not be coming at all. So if you could just text me and let me know, that would be really great. If there's any changes at home, something, maybe they had oh wow, that thing all of a sudden just went through like 3, sorry. I only pressed it once and it just went. All right, so if there's been any changes at home that I need to know about, like perhaps a pet has died or something like that, that is really going to affect how they're feeling, or maybe they were up at 5 in the morning. That happens a lot in the first day of school. It helps if we know those things, so we can kind of, if they have a meltdown, we'll kind of see where it's coming from, or we'll be able to understand if they're crying for the name of the pet that isn't there anymore. If you have any concerns, please let me know. Call, text. My door is always open to talk to you. So don't hesitate if you have any questions to come to me. Then from the communication from school to home, make sure you read the calendars, the newsletters, the emails, and the text messages. Those things are, like the newsletters may seem like a lot to read, but it does give you more information about what's in the calendar. And then you won't be missing important things that are coming. And then on the Seeds of Faith Facebook page, if you want to follow that, I put photos. If you've given permission for us to use your child's photo on Facebook, we'll have those pictures on the Facebook page. But new this year, I've just decided to do, like yesterday, I was decided that we were going to do Class Dojo. And some of you may have used other things like that, Seesaw or some other programs like that that are for communicating from home and school. So in your little packet, there's a paper there for you to sign up for it. It's free. Apparently there's some kind of a pop-up that comes up that asks you if you want to subscribe to a free trial. You can just, at the top, just click skip, and then cancel, and then you just have to put your name in, and I've already put the kids' names in that put their first name and their last initial. And each child has a little monster avatar, and they can actually change that if they want to. If they want it to different color or something like that, they can change that. So if you could, I'd really appreciate it if everybody would sign up for that, because then what I can do is I can send photos to the whole class, or I could send just you a photo of your child, something that they were doing, and I can message you like things that maybe something that reminders. I can remind the whole class, oh, tomorrow's Blue Day, don't forget. You can send messages back. So if it's a message to the whole group, if you reply to that, then it shows up just like on Facebook underneath the message. Other people can read it. But if it's just between you and me, then I'm the only one who'll be able to see that. One really cool thing about this is that when you set up your profile, if you speak a language other than English, you can put your language in there, and it will translate the messages to your language. So I think that's super cool. So it says there's like over 35 languages that it'll translate into. So yeah, if you could try to do that. Now, the paper I gave you has a unique code that is your child's code to get into there. And so I'm really hoping we'll get everybody to sign up for that, because then we can communicate so much easier. And you can send me a message if your child's going to be sick or late on Class Dojo, just like you would do with text messaging. So that way, if you don't have my phone number handy, it's an easy way to get a hold of me. So my contact information, sorry, I got it behind there. Got excited about Club Dojo and I forgot to, or the Class Dojo, and forgot to forward it here. So that is my cell phone number. So if you want to take a second right now, if you don't have that number on your phone already, to put that in there. And that way, if your child is going to be sick and not come to class late, if you're going to be late picking them up, anything like that, you can text me. if I'm in class, I prefer texts over phone calls, because then I can just I have the text come up on my watch, so just the first part of it, so I can see if it's something I need to deal with right away or not. You can also email the Seeds of Faith email, but I don't check that. I often don't check that during class. So if you need something urgent, then texting me is the best. You can call my office phone number, but that one, I don't always get those messages till after class, because I'm not in my office a whole lot. So that's kind of like, if your child's up in the middle of the night throwing up and you want to message me and don't want to wake me up, don't worry, because I have my phone on silent, so you can text me anyways. But some people will leave it on my office number for that reason. So some of you met Miss Ryan. If you haven't already, she's our assistant, and she was down with the school supplies. And she is wonderful, and she loves children, and your child will come to know her and love her too. So she will be helping with all of our classes for the immediate future. We're not sure if we'll go back to having some parent helpers in the classroom. We're going to just wait and see how things go here, and maybe at some point we might be able to resume with that. We also have Mrs. Marge, the kids call her, Marge Thiessen, and she helps on Fridays as an extra set of hands on Fridays, but she also will help if I need an extra, and she just does this totally just out of the love of children. She's a volunteer, and so she'll probably be coming to our first class for each group in case we need an extra set of hands with the kids. We also have some craft ladies that come Tuesday afternoon and prepare crafts, and they're wonderful. We're going to need some toy cleaning to be done, as I had mentioned. And so I will send you something on Sign Up Genius for that, as well as for signing up for snacks. And the nice thing about Sign Up Genius is if you sign up, you'll be able to see right away if somebody's already signed up for your class or not. So it's better than having a sign up in the preschool, because some of you won't be doing drop off and pick up. So payment and receipts. Now the tuition is calculated as a yearly amount and divided in 10 equal payments. So some months are going to be longer and some are shorter. So in case you're wondering in June, because we don't have a lot of classes in June, why were we still paying for a full month? It's because tuition is for the year and divided into the 10 payments. So the classes will end June 7th to 9th. Save your tuition receipts you can use them for income tax as a child care expense. They'll get them emailed to you several times a year. So usually in around September, she does the ones for what you paid for registration, and then in like December, January, she'll do the tuition up until then, and then again at the end of the year, you'll get one more. So just watch for that. It comes from, the email address starts with finance. I'll try to send an email to let you know when they're coming, so you can keep an eye out for them. So special events. We have a few things that we do every year. And so one thing is Christmas program, and that's a big highlight. All the kids are a part of it. I'm not sure how we'll do it this year, but last year we did 2 programs. We did 2 classes at each program, so that we didn't have it quite as full in here. So that's probably what we'll do again. We did that at graduation too. So we did that way. There's 2 classes that perform, and then another day we'll do the other 2. At the end of the year, we do a graduation and year-end program, and so the kids that aren't graduating are still a part of it, and it's a lot of fun, and the kids are super cute, and everybody gets an award for something. So make sure you don't miss out on that. We usually do a field trip, and when we do field trips, the kids get to wear their Seeds of Faith shirt. It makes it really easy to spot them. when we were in the Science Center once, it was a real lifesaver when somebody decided to take off and you could see that blue shirt running away. So that's one of the reasons why we do it. Also, we wear them on our walking trips too. So we'll do several walking trips to the park across the street. The kids really enjoy that. We'll do some outdoor things there. And we have a special rope with little loops on it where they all hold onto a loop so that we can cross the street safely. We just about monthly, we have a special day where we celebrate the theme that we're learning. We also, for birthdays, we celebrate everybody's birthday sometime during the year. So if your child has a summer birthday, we celebrate their half birthday, 6 months. So 6 months from their birthday is their half birthday. And we put it on the calendar on the closest class day. So if you're wondering why it's not their actual birthday, it's the day we celebrate it in the classroom. And so we sing a song and the kids dance around, and the child whose birthday it is get to wear a crown. They get to blow out the candles on our felt cake, and then they get a little glow stick balloon thing to take home. School pictures. The last couple of years, we had Piper Sports Photography did our pictures. He did an amazing job. He does like the Cougars, all kinds of sports teams, and so I was really surprised that he came, because he has to come 4 times with only 10 kids in each class. And but the one thing is that we need to have 80% pre-orders before he comes to make it worth his while. But we haven't had trouble with that the last couple of years, and everybody's been really happy with the photos. So I'm hoping that he'll agree to do that again this year. And then other photos, so there were 2 permissions, and sometimes people just think it's all one, but there were 2 different permission portions on those orange forms. One was for permission for taking photos within the preschool, and so that would be like we do a slideshow at Christmas and at the end of the year we do a slideshow. Sometimes we'll do like class books where each child has their picture in the class book. So if you don't sign that one, then we can't take pictures of your child for anything. Also, that first one would also, I think, cover the class dojo, because that's not going out on, like on Facebook or anything like that. The second part of the permission is if you're okay with your child's picture being on the Seeds of Faith Facebook page, Instagram, or it may end up being a promoted ad or something like that. So you can do one or the other or both. It's up to you. But if you do the Facebook or Instagram, we don't use your child's name. So just so you know, we don't put names on. So that, I think, is everything I have. Is there any questions? If you have a question that you think everybody needs to know, you can ask it now, or if you have something that's just pertaining to your child, you can come and talk to me afterwards. Is there anything that I missed? Yes? The entrance, like the main doors that you came in tonight, that's the entrance that you'll come in for preschool. And you can park on this side over here where it says it's handicapped parking. Am I pointing the right way? The central street right there. That street you can park on. You could also park on the other one if you want to. It's just sometimes people think they're not allowed to park here because it says it's handicapped, but it's not usually used during the week, so I have permission from the church to use that for the families for drop-off and pickup. Anything else? Well, I want to thank everybody so much for coming. I realize that for some of you, you had kids that had their first day of school. For some teachers, first day of school, you're tired. I totally understand. So thank you so much for making time to come. I'm really looking forward to getting to know your child this year. Yeah, feel free if you have any questions, you can come and ask me afterwards.
Thank you. probably just a PowerPoint. We can just read through it, yeah. Because it'll be me on Thursdays and then Tim on Tuesdays, and on Tuesday my mom too. So if I can just pass that along,
Yeah, for sure.
then I can even just
Up and away we go.